You know, we throw around phrases like the engine of an economy or the heart of a city all the time. But today, we're going straight to the source. We're talking about the most vital, most hard-working engine in your entire body, the heart. It's an absolute masterpiece of biological engineering, and it runs nonstop for our entire lives. But how much do we really know about how it's designed? Come on, let's take a look under the hood.
Okay, let's start with a number. Just look at this. 2.5 billion. That is roughly how many times your heart is going to beat in an average lifetime. I mean, think about that. It's an incredible feat of endurance that powers literally everything we do every single day, and it never, ever needs an oil change.
So that massive number, it's just mind-boggling, right? And it really makes you wonder, how on earth does this biological machine manage that kind of workload without ever taking a break? Well, in this explainer, we're going to explore the heart's blueprint, we'll check out its power grid, and then we'll see what happens when that amazing system breaks down.
All right, first up, let's get into the heart's basic design. At its core, it's just a super sophisticated, really powerful, and incredibly efficient pump. And, like any great piece of engineering, it all starts with a solid blueprint.
You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around the heart structure is to picture a house with 4 rooms. The 2 upper chambers, the atria, they're kind of like the entry halls where all the blood arrives. And the 2 lower chambers, the ventricles, well, those are the powerhouses. They're the big, powerful pumps that send the blood out on its journey. Now, I know this slide might look a little complicated at first, but it shows off a truly brilliant concept. Your heart is actually a double pump. Let's just follow the main paths here. So on the left diagram, follow those blue lines. That shows the right side of the heart. It takes in all the oxygen-poor blood from your body and sends it over to the lungs to get a refill. Okay, now look at the diagram on the right. Those red lines show the left side, which gets that fresh, oxygen-rich blood from the lungs and pumps it out to your entire body. 2 totally separate circuits working in perfect harmony with every single beat. It's amazing. But of course, a pump is pretty useless without a power source. So how does the heart know when to beat? Well, that brings us to the heart's own internal power grid, a system that conducts a kind of electrical symphony to keep everything in perfect rhythm. And the conductor of this symphony? It's a tiny little cluster of special cells called the sinoatrial node, or SA node for short. You can basically think of it as the heart's own natural pacemaker. It's the spark plug. It fires off that first electrical signal that tells the heart, hey, it's time to beat, about 60 to 100 times every minute. Okay, so check out the journey of that spark. First, the SA node fires. That signal zips across the atria, the top chambers, causing them to squeeze blood down into the ventricles. Then the signal hits a kind of gatekeeper called the AV node. Now this part is absolutely crucial. The AV node holds that signal for just a fraction of a second. Why? Well, that tiny pause gives the ventricles just enough time to fill up completely with blood before they get the signal to pump. Finally, that signal rushes down to the ventricles, causing them to contract with force, pushing blood out to the lungs and the rest of the body. It's that perfect, precise timing that makes one single heartbeat so incredibly efficient. So this amazing electrical show is happening inside of us all the time. But the really cool thing is, it's not invisible. We can actually listen in and record this symphony using a special tool that turns the heart's electrical signals into a visual signature we can read. And that signature is what we call an electrocardiogram, or ECG. And every little part of this wave tells a story. See that first little bump, the P wave? That shows the atria, the entry halls, contracting. Then you get that big spike right after it, the QRS complex. That, my friends, is the powerful contraction of the ventricles, the main pumps doing all the heavy lifting. And that last bump, the T wave, that shows the ventricles resetting, just getting ready for the very next beat. It's a whole electrical picture of one single heartbeat. So a normal, healthy heart produces this really regular, really predictable signature, beat after beat. But what happens when that signature gets all messy and erratic? This is where the ECG becomes one of the most powerful tools a doctor has. Take a look at this. This is an ECG from someone with atrial fibrillation, which is a really common type of abnormal rhythm, or arrhythmia. Now, don't worry about all the little notes on the side there. I just want you to focus on the shape of the wave itself. Compare it to that nice, regular beat we just saw. See how those neat little P waves before the big spike are totally gone? Instead, you just have this chaotic, wavy baseline. That tells us the atria aren't contracting properly anymore. They're just kind of quivering. The electrical spark has gone haywire, and the heart's rhythm has become dangerously irregular. So, now that we've got a handle on the blueprint and the power grid, we can really start to see how things can go wrong. When the cardiovascular system fails, it's usually a problem in one of three areas: the plumbing, the electrical, or the mechanical pump itself.
This chart sums it up perfectly using our engine analogy. So, a plumbing problem, like a blocked coronary artery, that's like a clogged fuel line. That can lead to a heart attack. An electrical problem, something wrong with the heart's wiring, can cause an arrhythmia, like that atrial fibrillation we just saw. And finally, a mechanical problem, where the pump muscle itself just gets weak, that can result in heart failure. Let's dig just a little deeper into those plumbing and mechanical failures. A heart attack, or a myocardial infarction, if you want the technical term, is basically a supply crisis. Just like any engine, the heart muscle needs its own constant supply of oxygen-rich fuel. It gets this blood through its own little fuel lines, the coronary arteries. If one of those arteries gets blocked up, a part of the heart muscle is suddenly starved of oxygen, and it actually starts to die. That is a heart attack. Now, the term heart failure can sound really scary, and it's a bit misleading. It doesn't mean the heart has just stopped working. What it really means is that the pump has gotten weak or stiff over time, and it just can't keep up with the body's demand for blood anymore. It's a mechanical problem, an efficiency problem. The engine is still running, but it's just not powerful enough to get the job done right. When you think about it, from its four-chambered design and its brilliant double pump action, all the way to its intricate electrical grid, the heart truly is a masterpiece. It's an engine that's built for the long haul, a resilient and powerful machine right at the very center of who we are. And, understanding this incredible blueprint is really the first step to taking care of it. So that brings us to our final thought. Now that you've seen the owner's manual, you know how the plumbing, the wiring, and the mechanical pump all work, what's one small thing you can do, starting today, to help your own engine run smoothly for a lifetime? It's a question worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.